Hello. I am one of your hosts, Battlefield Beta, Taylor Field.
And I am the other host, the spinoff, Kirklin Patzer.
Am I laggy right now, Kirklin? Is like my quality
You are
a little
laggy.
shoddy?
It's weird. As soon as we went live, you got a little laggy.
That's super.
You're
weird.
fine.
Let me
before then.
Let me know if I kind of drift in and out. Am I a bit better right now?
Okay. You are good now.
Okay. So yeah, we're here. News episode, GeekVerse podcast. I have plugs. I love doing the plugs. Check us out on our home base, GeekVerse.ca. There's our main website. Check us out on our social media. GeekVerse Cast is our Twitter. GeekVerse on our Facebook. And definitely check us out on our Facebook because we got our latest and greatest fan-based community poll that is popping off. It is Halloween themed. That is right. It's been a great round of contenders so far, some familiar ones and some new ones. But I think right now it is Jigsaw versus
Pumpkinhead or something like that.
It is Pumpkinhead. Thank you. Yeah, Jigsaw versus Pumpkinhead. And then that'll change to Jack from The Shining versus Annabelle the doll. So that'll be intriguing.
Be a good match.
Be a very good match, yeah. So definitely check that out. Check us out on our Patreon as well. You get ad-free early episodes on there. They're exclusive. They're exclusive for a little bit of time, and then they go on the main feed. But with ads, and if you don't want ads, then check us out on the Patreon. I'm rambling now about that. Anyways, some big news. This is huge, juicy news. This is our fifth, mind you, annual traditional GeekVerse Extra Life 24-hour charity stream for the BC Children's Hospital. We have a fantastic goal of $2,500 that we're going to be aiming for the kids. Again, Travis pointed out that we've missed 1 year from hitting our goal. And I'm glad he said that because I thought we hit our goal every year. It seems like we either surpassed our goal greatly or that 1 year we just came up really short. But with how well we did last year, I got high hopes that we'll...
Absolutely. I think we got a lot of momentum carrying over. And this is obviously something that's near and dear to our hearts. It's an awesome charity that we're going towards. And it's just an all-around fun time. We're going to be probably casting, not even really casting, just talking about stuff, which is pretty much a cast in its own. We got just a lot of gauntlet. I feel like some of the most memorable gauntlet matches have come out of these 24-hour streams. So all in all, it's just fun time for a great cause. And if you can donate, it's obviously greatly appreciated, but also just stop by and say hi, and it'll be a fun time. We'll be around for 24 hours, so come and go as you please.
I did make a poster. I'm going to share it now to celebrate this occasion.
Oh, I like that.
I feel like I wasn't getting as crafty as I could have been with it, but let's get the excitement going. Yeah. But you have an announcement. I heard through the grapevine something was brewing.
So yes, on this, I think it's on the 24-hour stream. We're going to be doing some sort of trivia with teams and such like that. And I have a big announcement that I am officially going to be on Fanboy Clay's team, which is super exciting. I've never been paired up with him before. I love Clay. I love when he's competing with Travis because I'm always rooting for him to beat Travis. When I'm announcing, I'm partial. So in the moment, I'm partial, but deep down, I'm like, God, I just want him to be Travis because Travis needs to be just humbled a little bit, and just I feel like it's for the betterment of his ego health and the health of all of us if he just gets defeated some of these days. So finally, I'm gonna be able to pair up with him, and hopefully we can take down Travis and his team. And I don't even know all the team members. All I know is I'm with Fanboy Clay, and then obviously, Travis and I are going to have a big 1v1 match later in the day for the sports title. I am the longest-reigning sports champion. I have no intention to let that belt go. So it's going to be a nice, hard-fought battle. So make sure to check that one out.
You're going to want to rest up for that. He pulled some scheduling malarkey.
Of course he did. That's what he
does. Yeah. So he set it up so it's get some sleep.
I will be rested. I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. That trivia. I'm looking forward to that. There's a whole lineup of events. It's gonna be a great time. This is the biggest and bestest one that Travis has been piecing together here for everybody, so it should be good. And I'm excited to see you and Clay go against him. Clay already irks Travis.
Oh,
and
yeah, I
now
love
with
it.
you on that team, it's just gonna like he's gonna be tweaking out. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah. I
and
think, sorry, just to
no,
cut
go
you off
ahead,
there.
go
Like
ahead.
Clay in his last previous matches with Travis, it's been Rocket League, and both matches have been like very competitive. And like honestly, say what you will about the score, I think it could have gone either way. But I think Clay maybe just needs that little extra help to just push him over the edge. And God, it'll be satisfying once we
Mhm.
finally defeat Travis.
I'm on Travis's team, but I'm already rooting for you guys. Don't. I hope Travis doesn't hear that.
Oh, please not here listening to us. Uh, but
Well,
before, sorry, you
no,
go ahead.
go run with
Oh
it.
my gosh, look
Run,
at us.
sprint.
We're so kind. I was gonna say after or before the 24-hour stream, actually, we got DC fandom coming up, which is gonna be tons of fun. We got crossover events with other GUA members and just beautiful, wonderful people. So that's gonna be so much fun. And that is next weekend, I believe, next Saturday, October 16th. Make sure to tune into that. That's gonna be just lots of fun.
Thank you for shouting that out. I completely forgot. It shows
I thought you
my
might have
headspace
because
is
it's
up.
coming up before the 24-hour stream, but
Oh
nonetheless, they're
yeah.
both super exciting events.
Yeah. Well, speaking of DC, well, actually, no, we can't start with that. We gotta start with the other topic in order that Travis provided us. So Kirklin, how do you feel about the possible rumors of certain characters, namely specifically Agatha Harkness, getting her own Disney spin-off show on Disney Plus?
Yeah, I think this is just a genius idea. I feel like it's not really surprising, honestly, because she seemed like a very fan favorite character in the series of WandaVision. There's a lot of mystery behind her character. Like, obviously, we kind of found out like her origin story, but still, there's just so much left like untold, and there's so much content that you can build like a series around with her character. And not even just her, just like the whole aspect of like magic in general. Like it got like introduced with the character of Scarlet Witch, and then obviously touched upon more in her series with WandaVision. But I'm just really excited to just see more magic users. It's just such a cool aspect that's been introduced to the series. And what was shown in WandaVision, like surrounding Agatha, I'm just really excited to learn more about her and follow her and other characters that she might interact with in her own series. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I don't even think it's like a rumor anymore. Wasn't it like confirmed? Let me look that up while you go.
I can't remember. Travis wrote rumored Disney series in the show
Okay.
notes, so it kind of
I
confused
feel like
me.
maybe some of them were rumor because, like, even like the 10 Rings thing. Oh, hey, Carl, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see your name. I guess I'm not seeing you physically, but yeah, because like the 10 Rings one, that was one that we were all pretty much expecting, and then I think it was good for. But I'll confirm that.
Get the confirmation. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I'm curious: is it going to be a prequel or is it going to be a sequel series of her kind of like waking up in this town or whatnot? I would love it to be a prequel. Not gonna lie, just her doing her conniving magical stuff and everything like that. I think it'd be very entertaining. The whole magic is just done so beautifully, visually, aesthetically pleasing on how Marvel executes it. I absolutely love it with a passion. So I am so 100% down to see more of that visual aesthetic just popping off. Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah, that's a good question. Just in regards to if it'll be a prequel or like just where her story kind of left off, because I feel like you can easily do both. Because we got a glimpse of her origin story, but it was very much just glossed over. Like you could do like an entire series in like a different period, right? And then that way you're not
Mhm.
really trying to think about how it's going to relate into like the next MCU thing, or like trying to bring back her character, because I feel like she's a character that's eventually going to come back no matter what. It's all about if she's going to be like a big villain or even like a anti-hero type character or something like that. But I am intrigued about that one. And then yes, just to confirm, so it is says that it's in development at Disney Plus from Marvel Studios. Variety has learned exclusively from sources. So whatever that
Oh.
means, take what you will. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed, but I would put many or I'd put money on that we're getting that. And the 10 Rings one, I just was typing slow, so I didn't find that one. But I'm pretty sure that one's confirmed as well. I think the other one that's not confirmed is the Monica Rambeau series.
Yeah, I think that's at the
I'll
bottom.
confirm that while we're going. Yeah.
Yeah, the 10 Rings. I mean, you know it's coming back at the end of Shang-Chi. Spoilers. They said 10 Rings will return. So you know that's going to play a part in the future MCU content. More or less, probably a Disney Plus show. I can't see the movie getting, or the show getting, the 10 Rings getting their own
It's
movie.
early. It's early for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. But yeah, Monica Rambeau, that's an interesting one. I'm down to see that, but I'm curious if they would actually have her as her own character like show, or if they would pair her
Yeah.
off with another hero character, because I still feel like she's very, very fresh. And if you look at these characters so far, these Disney shows, they're all characters that have been introduced from the movies, right? Like Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision. So her character was introduced in a show. I'm curious to know, is it just going to, again, focus just on her, or are they going to have her like teammate with someone else? What was the character's name from Ant-Man, the detective?
Woo or something like
Woo.
that. Yeah.
Now that's the show that I'm upset about. I wish that we got the Agent Woo show. That would have
And
been so
even
good.
like him and oh my gosh, what's her name? From like Thor, but she was also in WandaVision. Kat Dennings' character.
Oh yeah.
I forget her name, but like I feel like her, like Woo, and like just like those other side characters, I always love like them all together, and I just love to see more content with them.
We'll pair them up with Monica Rambeau. I'd 100%
Yeah.
would I'd love all those characters coming back in there. But I guess Kat Dennings is probably going to be saved for Thor: Love and Thunder, I imagine.
True. Yeah, but I still think that she is a likable enough character that she could
Oh yeah.
possibly get put into a show like that, where maybe she's not the front runner, but like she's like a strong side character. Because then you just are building upon a character that majority already loves, and then you just get her more fleshed out, but you don't have to like. I feel like selling her as the protagonist in like a standalone movie is kind of tough, but I like her
Kat
enough that
Dennings?
yeah.
That would be bold. Kat
Yeah,
Dennings
yeah,
leading
exactly.
the
That's
own
what I
new
mean.
MCU movie.
It's it's tough to pitch that movie idea,
Yeah.
but I still would like to see more of her character, and just maybe in a more lead role in a show would probably fit better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found, so the Monica Rambeau thing is a rumor, and then the 10 Rings, I believe that's set, because I mean we're gonna be getting Shang-Chi like in the future MCU movies content, but like what was left off with his sister and stuff, I feel like that's just like that's a show right there that can write itself. Like it's just you got all the content there. I'm pretty darn sure that one's confirmed as well as the um oh my gosh, what was the first one that we were just talking about?
Agatha?
Agatha. Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Cool. Now I'm curious, are there any Disney Plus shows for a Marvel character you'd like to see? Just give me like your top like one right now you'd want.
I feel like the first one that comes to mind is like the whole Vision thing. And again, that's like a big question mark though, because I don't know when he's gonna show up again. Like he just kind of vanished, so we know that he's gonna come back eventually. He's a character that's just so tied to Wanda that it's tough to see him and not Wanda. But I still think it's possible that you could do like him discovering himself or something in like his own show. Um, and yeah, like that's the first one that comes to mind, but it's again, I feel like I'm still leaning more that he would appear in the movie, but he's still a really likable character that I'd like him fleshed out a lot more, like on his own. Because in WandaVision, it's called WandaVision, but it's still like Wanda's show, in my opinion. Like Vision is a strong side character with her, but it's still mostly just revolving around Wanda and her own grief. And yeah, Vision is also going through grief, but he's also dead. Like in the whole show, kind of he like gets remade, but it's pretty much just Wanda and her own struggles there. If I'm thinking anyone in particular, I don't know. Maybe I'll need a second to think of one. Do you have one off the top of your head?
I mean, I'd say Ghost Rider, but he's already coming in the movie, so
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't have to go
Your
there.
wish is
But
granted.
yes, wish is granted. I would. Yeah, it's tricky. I would love to see. I mean, I feel like Red Hulk will kind of be popped off in like the Thunderbolts whenever they do the Thunderbolts and all that jazz. As far
Yeah.
as the show goes, though, probably something more along the Mystic Arts. I'd like something with Wong. I think he's just popping up in everything. So
Yeah, that would probably be a really good pitch, because
Mhm.
again, he's one of those characters that I feel like majority really like, and then like it's tough to just pitch him as a full movie protagonist, but if he has his own series, and then he can even interact with different side characters that maybe Strange and the other sorcerers can like interact with in their own, like in the movies, but then we get them fleshed out more in the shows. So that's a good pitch. I like that one a lot. Sorry, were you gonna keep going?
No, I was just
Yeah.
chopping my lips.
I was gonna say one I think I would really really like actually is not even like a particular character like specifically, but like more just like Wakanda stuff. I think I would love like a series just set in Wakanda, because like we're getting Black Panther 2, but also maybe just like a series like going about uh the Dora Milaje. That's what they're called, right? Yeah.
Dora
So
Milaje,
yeah, so like them, maybe even just like Shuri or something. I mean, she'll probably be a lot more relevant in Black Panther 2 since we don't have Chadwick Boseman, unfortunately, anymore. But I don't know, just maybe fleshing out more of those characters, or even just like the different tribes in Wakanda. I feel like we're not going to get too much emphasis on them in the movie. So I think it would be really fun to just learn more about them and maybe like the history of Wakanda a little bit more. Like, I think Black Panther 1 did a good job at giving us all the necessary history that we needed to like get that movie going, but I still want more because it's just so fascinating to me. I think Wakanda is one of the coolest places that's ever been introduced. My God,
introduces.
introduced in the MCU, but I just want more like the gorilla tribe like in the north. Like those guys are so interesting to me. I would love to learn more about them, or like the water tribe. There's just so much that was introduced in that movie that it's tough to like dive in specifically in each one in like the feature films. But with the Disney Plus series, you can get wild and you can go all sorts of different directions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a very good pick, actually. I didn't even thought of that. There's a lot of rich history you can go in there,
Yeah.
like just even like the beginning stages of Wakanda when that asteroid full of vibranium crash lands, and just like the first Black Panther or something. There's lots of cool things you can
Exactly.
do. So
And you could do it modern day, like past. It doesn't really matter. So
yeah,
I'm sure
absolutely.
Travis wouldn't want it in the past because he's notorious for not liking prequels. But
He hates prequels so much. um Cool. Wraps up our Marvel slate. Unless was there something else that he added into the Marvel news area? I should take another look at his notes.
No, I think we covered it all. The rumored D plus spinoffs and just how excited we are for them.
Very, very excited. I'm very excited. They just got to be swimming with these shows right now.
Oh, yeah.
So let's drop to a quick ad break, and then we'll be right back. And we're back. All right. So the next topic, we're super excited. Juicy meat and potatoes. This is a little bit of DC. Now, The Flash, it's rumored, mind you, to reset a Justice League roster or Justice A League roster. Who will be replaced? And who would they be replaced by? Words straight from the text.
Yeah.
So what do you got, Kirklin?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting one. I mean, you and I were kind of talking before cast how like probably out of our wheelhouse because you and I aren't the most well read when it comes to DC stuff, but nonetheless, it's still an interesting series. I think it has a lot of great characters in it that are really interesting and appealing, and the whole idea that like this Flash event is gonna just I say Flash event. It's not called Flash event, but the character Flash, it's going to be somehow related to him, and it's resetting like the DC EU A-list roster, which is really really interesting. I feel like it's really tough anytime that you're trying to like just like basically replace like the main cast and like have new cast as the A-list roster. But it's also a lot more interesting if you're just like actually replacing them with like different characters, like instead of like Superman, maybe the lead runner is I don't even know who to pull from. Martian Manhunter, I guess. That's a character that like we got him in the Snyder cut. We didn't get him in the regular Justice League, right? I've only seen that movie once, so
he was in Man of Steel in his human form.
as his
we
human
don't
form,
see him. Yeah.
Is it like in the script that he's the Martian Manhunter at all, or is it just like something that's been?
It probably is. I don't
Yeah.
know how people just knew like that's Martian Manhunter. Like
Yeah,
people
deep
just
cut
know.
fans, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I think that's a really, really interesting idea because for one, DC has so many interesting characters to pick from. I think some people, although like Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, like those are the most well-known names, I think there's still so many characters that they could pull from to like make a strong A list. And then you're also not like, oh, well, they're just trying to redo Batman. Oh, let's see who's gonna fail at it again, or like what, because I feel like that dialogue is going to happen no matter what happens. But if you introduce someone fresh, it's like, oh, okay, let's see what happens with this character and how they can carry or how they can carry a series like Justice League, but also maybe just introduce more people to Justice League because there's probably like a lot of GA general audience members that are just they just don't know much of like the deep cut characters like oh, what's her name? Zatanna. I always say her name wrong. Yeah, Zatanna. Like really, really interesting character. Like I've never seen her in live action. I don't think there's any source material with her live action, but she's just a really, really fascinating character if you look into like her comic book stuff. Um, and yeah, there's just a lot that they can replace them with, and I don't think that's a bad decision to do. Maybe this is where we get like a more fleshed out Green Lantern,
Mhm.
something like that. I could really see him being like one of the main members because in the Justice League cartoon show, that's like my main source that I'd pull from because I used to watch that back in the day. Like he was a lot more relevant in the Justice League. Um, yeah, what about you? What are your thoughts? And then I guess we can like kind of fan cast or who we would want.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally true. You're right. The main head honchos are your Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I feel in this sense they would have to pull some characters that they haven't dabbled in. I think Martian Manhunter would definitely be more of a prominent character. Yeah, Green Lantern. You know, I mean, Cyborg definitely was focused on, but I feel still like he kind of got shafted a little bit. He didn't get a lot of
Yeah,
attention. I feel like that's another character you could do. Aquaman's obviously getting his own movie, so I don't know if they'd really bring in a lot of Aquaman stuff.
yeah.
Um,
The thing with Cyborg though, right, is like the whole Ray Fisher and like the Warner Brothers thing.
yeah,
So, like, I feel
yeah.
like we're like that character is just unfortunately gone for like the whole political side of it, and like
Mhm.
the internal drama that was going on there, which is really unfortunate because I liked Ray Fisher's performance of the character. It's really really sucks that we don't get to dive into because like you were just glossing over, like he had a lot of interesting backstory and stuff, and I wanted to learn more about the character, but unfortunately I don't think we're gonna get that.
Yeah. Um, obviously, uh, now Shazam, that'll be interesting. I
Yeah,
feel like they could. I feel like they love what they're doing with that kind of realm. I feel like we could see Shazam kind of thrown into that mix because
yeah,
again, we're getting Black Adam, we're getting Shazam 2, so they're obviously putting all their chips into that storyline because that's probably the most developed and like fueled trajectory of a character and that DC is working on. Because I mean, if you look at all the other stuff they're doing, I haven't heard anything on like a new Wonder Woman. I haven't heard anything on anything else for Aquaman aside from Aquaman 2. Nothing
mhm.
about new Justice League. Nothing about anything. They just did a Suicide Squad. So it's unless I'm totally glazing over what they have in the works, I don't think there's really much aside from there's the Canary show that they're doing. I
That's
think,
right, the Black
or
Canary.
the movie actually, isn't it, on HBO Max or something like that?
Yeah, I'll
Um,
confirm that. I know that she's getting something with the same actress, which is
yeah,
awesome because I loved her performance in
yeah.
Birds of Prey.
So I think I'm probably just spacing. I think that's the only thing, at least I can recall, that they're working on, like in development and all that jazz. So I think Shazam has all their eggs at this time, just what they're going to be pursuing that with that. So I'm curious what else that they might dabble into. Again, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter for sure. Did you find out anything on that?
Um, on the Black Canary thing,
Yeah.
um, maybe I just don't know what to Google when I do these things. I'm like expecting to be right there, but it's just not. I know it was confirmed that she's getting a movie or a TV show.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Um.
so yeah, and then for in regards to like the new roster, like are you pretty sure that or do you think at least it would be like Martian Manhunter because it is a character that had a lot of just wasted potential, like he was just hinted at, it's like, oh, I'm going to be a big relevant character in here, and then just with the whole Zack Snyder thing and just the like we're just probably won't be getting another Snyder like series film. um do you think they would like carry that character over, maybe like recast him or something, but just have him because yeah, we saw him on live action screen, but like he was so irrelevant in that movie. It was more like get excited for him. He's gonna be a big character. Get excited, and then he's just wasted. I like. Do you think that they would explore that character more, or is it like, we had the chance and now it's just, yeah.
I hope they'd explore it. 100%. He just didn't. They didn't give us enough of it, really. He just showed up at. We got the transformation scene in the Justice League, and then we got him at the very end in that new scene they filmed with Bruce Wayne. But I hope they would do more. He's such a cool character, and when everyone's all focused on like, wow, like aliens do exist, it's Kryptonians and all that jazz, that's like, hang on, hold on to your horses. There's another one called Martian Manhunter. So
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, and then with Shazam, I haven't seen Shazam, so I'm gonna be asking you here, which I know you love the movie, but like, what's the general audience's take on it? Where everyone's like, "This movie's awesome," or was it okay, 7 out of 10? It was okay.
For Shazam,
Yeah,
I mean, I bought it to own it. I thought it's a super super fun movie. It's just the idea of a kid being in an adult's body, like Tom Hanks and Big kind of like thing, and especially loading him up with superpowers that everything that Superman has, I think is absolutely. It's just it makes for a fun time. It's a thrill ride. And you haven't seen it, have you?
no, I haven't.
I really do from the bottom of my heart think you would enjoy it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
mean,
it's
I'm gonna have
incredible.
to watch it eventually. I think we'll probably be doing like a retro or something on it. I'm gonna be watching at some point, so
Mhm.
I will have a take on it. But just thinking about like him being added to the whole Justice League thing, it's tough for me just for the idea of what the character is. Like he is very comedic. It is like a child in the suit, but also he's like got an iconic like look, at least, or like his symbol, his costume is really like identifiable. So like I could also kind of see him like being on like the big roster like that, just as an added character. But I don't know. It's still, I feel like I have this thought in the back of my mind that it's got to just be like a lot more of like the main stage type characters. It's tough to replace someone like Superman, Wonder Woman, because like those are just so iconic and like obviously the front runners for Justice League. Um, but at the same time, if it's a popular enough movie, I could totally see them just doing that for that reason. And then I have here Black Canary is for it's a movie, so there you go. And is that too much of a side character to like have on the roster of Justice League?
Well, Canary.
Yeah, Black Canary.
I mean, I was just kind of scrolling through, and I'm seeing some other characters that I think, whether or not they were actually on the Justice League, I don't know. But there's like Doctor Fate, and there's Power Girl, and then there is Captain Atom. So this seems like a lot of other heavy hitters
Yeah.
that would probably fit the bill before Canary would.
Yeah, exactly. And then like what I was reading is like the founding members were like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter. So there you go. So you got your Martian Manhunter in there.
Mhm.
Obviously like we'll have Flash because it's set with the Flash resetting like the A list. Martian Manhunter. Honestly, I think I'm starting to agree with you more that like we would see him just because we didn't get much to explore with him. Not enough people saw like saw that character and affiliated him with the Justice League, I think. So could definitely see him in there. I think Green Lantern is pretty set. Also because there's so many different like versions of that character. Like different people have had the ring and like been the Green Lantern. So even if you wanted to do the Hal Jordan one, and of course that's like the surface level of my knowledge of the character. I'm forgetting the other ones that have held the ring, but nonetheless, I think Green Lantern would be pretty damn set, especially just because we haven't seen him since Ryan Reynolds, right? Do you think Ryan Reynolds would make a fun cameo and come back as the character?
Mhm.
Some people are throwing those little like fun ideas out. I don't think that's possible, especially if they're trying to make Green Lantern like one of the main members. I don't think it would be Ryan Reynolds just to come back because he's got his own things he's focusing on.
Well, that's the joy of, again, what Marvel's up to. Marvel's got this universe that they've established with carbon copies of each other. So you have point exhibit A, J. Jonah Jameson. I mean, it's just a shame that because DC set that kind of storyline up as well, and we're going to get into that with the Flash. I think it'd be absolutely hilarious to have just, you wouldn't even have to have Ryan Reynolds, but just a nod to that movie saying this is one of the realms out there, I guess, or one of the alternate like timelines. I just think that would be super funny. But every time I think of Ryan Reynolds, I just think of him in Deadpool when he's like teleports to Ryan Reynolds, like reading the script for Green Lantern. Like, this is my big time shot, and he just shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
funny.
Oh yeah, so the other Green Lantern guy was John Stewart. So I could honestly see them doing something like that. I feel like if they want to do something fun, maybe have like Ryan Reynolds back as like Hal Jordan. And then like very briefly, just like as a fun little humor thing, maybe a little Easter egg thing, and then have the main guy be the John Stewart version. I think it would. I think I'm pretty confident that we're going to be getting John Stewart's Green Lantern in the new Justice League. And
What's your
for the other,
percentage?
probably like 89%. Honestly, I'm pretty damn confident. I think because we just haven't had much live action Green Lantern, and he is like a fan favorite, and that's probably a bold accusation, but I feel like he is. So yeah, I'm 89% sure we're getting John Stewart. I'm like 29% sure he's a fan favorite. But yeah, I think for sure we'll be getting him. And then we haven't really talked about them, but like Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, like what's going on there? Are we getting Henry Cavill? Are we? What do you think? What like? Because they can't just not talk about them. They're like too much of the main characters.
Yeah,
Do they recast?
to me, it feels like this is gonna be a poor example. You're in a relationship, but you break up, but you like. It was a horrible, like, iffy breakup, but you're still kind of like, you have a new partner, but you're still kind of like with the other person, not with the other person, but like friends with the other person. And I just feel like that's the case. Warner Brothers is just kind of like stringing them along, and it's just kind of not going their way. I feel like every time Ben Affleck wants out, like he retired his suit on one of those Tonight shows, and what is he doing? He's back. He film scenes as Batman in Justice League. He's back in the Flash. Like, it's just absolutely bonkers. So I just feel like, again, money speaks, but I feel like these actors are trying to get out. They're trying to smash the glass windows and jump out of the Warner Brothers studios, and Warner Brothers dropped the metal gates down on them and won't let them leave. So a little more blunt.
Absolutely. Yeah, because Travis had mentioned in like the little notes there, like just like a different version of the character. Like I think he had mentioned like Keaton's Batman, Batgirl, Supergirl, and like it is attached to like the classics, which is like Superman, Batman. But I think we would actually see something like that where it would be something different, but still really tied to those characters. The Keaton one is a really fun idea. I want Keaton back no matter what. I know I'm getting him. I mean, we've seen like set photos. I forget what show that is. Is it The Flash? Actually, it
It
probably
should be
is.
the Flash. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's there you go. He's already on scene with the Flash, so could probably see him being attached to it in some way, shape, or form, and then maybe because Keaton's not a young guy anymore, maybe like passing the mantle of like that Batman to the Batman Beyond guy, or like maybe the Batgirl thing. I think it's a fun idea. I feel like out of everyone, like if I had to pick someone that would come back from like the classic, it would be like Diana. So Gal Gadot, just because I think she's just. I mean, I love Henry Cavill Superman, but he's already like been doing it for like a long time now. Like, don't get me wrong, Wonder Woman, the first one came out like what 2018, like quite a long time ago now. But I feel like she's still just like that strong front runner for that role. I can't really picture her being replaced by like anyone or sorry like anyone else like being casted for that role. I think it's just her for right now at least. And it's tough to think of like a side Wonder Woman character that would maybe like fill her shoes. But I think it would be Gal Gadot at least some way, shape, or form, and then I could definitely see it being more Supergirl of a character, or maybe just the different versions of Superman that we've gotten. I don't think Cavill wants to come back. I think he's focusing on other things. He's having fun on the set of Witcher and stuff like that. So
He wants the James Bond
yeah,
role.
and or Mission Impossible as well, right? He was in that
Yeah.
movie. I can't remember his fate at the end of the last one, but nonetheless, he was in there.
I can't remember either.
I feel like he's too jacked for Bond. He's just a little too big. You know, Bond is fit and well cut man, but like Cavill's he looks like a Witcher, man. He's like just huge, a mountain.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was kind of rambling on there at the end there, but
No, I love rambles.
I know you do.
Um, I think that kind of covers the DC act.
I agree.
I think that covers the DC aspect. Yeah.
I think we went longer than we were expecting on the subject for two guys that aren't super well versed in DC. Hopefully, we didn't let down our DC Alliance boys, our lads over there, Clay and Travis. But Travis Snell is probably gonna listen to this, but like, oh, these guys are so unwell read on DC. But we're doing what we can.
I have to ask, am I lagging still a little bit, or how's it going?
You're a little fuzzy, but your audio is good, so I feel like that's the main thing.
Okay, cool.
You haven't like really cut out your audio like since the early stages, so that's good.
Perfect. Well, how about we jump to another ad break here, and then we talk about some movies?
I think it's a great idea.
It's a fabulous idea. Oh, we'll be right back. And we're back. So, well, you know what? I feel like as far as this movie goes, you probably have much more experience with the games and everything. So you should like segue this.
Yeah, me to lead off. I'm gonna just take a guess of what one you're talking about. I'm assuming it's Resident Evil.
No, it's Paranormal Activity.
Oh, Paranormal Activity.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Can you imagine? I feel like that could be kind of fun. Like I don't know.
It'd have to be VR.
Gameplay. Yeah, absolutely. You're just like playing as a camcorder guy. But no, we're not talking about that one right now. We're talking about Resident Evil. I feel like I kind of forgot that this was happening, like this movie, because they have like the animated one, right, coming out on Netflix, and then they have this one, which I kind of just forgot about. I remember like seeing the cast and stuff like that, but nonetheless, it kind of surprised me. And then we saw the trailer for it. How do I feel about this trailer? I thought it was fun. A fun trailer, especially there's a lot of like just like nods to the games and stuff like that. I don't have like that much experience with Resident Evil. I played like the PS1 one, probably like it was probably Resident Evil 1, honestly, and had a lot of fun with that. I feel like I have more experience with the movies, which is probably the exact same thing for you, but nonetheless, like I played Resident Evil 2 the remake, and there was a few scenes that was like carbon copy from that into this one, like with like the big tanker like crashing in front of the police department. That was like the exact same thing that happened in that game. So it was really fun to see those ones. I've seen even just online, a lot of people have done like side-by-side comparison between like the video game and this one, and it's really cool that they went through the effort to like add in all those Easter eggs for the hardcore fans that are probably really appreciative of that stuff. But for the trailer alone, I hated the music that they went with. It was like that, I don't even know what the song is called, but it just like honestly, as soon as the song came in, it just like took me out of it. But I still think it showed enough action and stuff that it's like, okay, this is probably gonna be a fun movie with some like creepy scenes. Like even in this, there was quite a few scenes that was like, oh, that's a little terrifying. Whether it was like that Megamind looking dude that like jumped through the window and grabbed Claire. So like some stuff in there was really cool. I think majority of the monsters, like the big ones at least, looked like really bad CGI in my mind. Hopefully it's
like
a little bit
Doom CGI.
Yeah, exactly. And like with the dog, it looked really bad in my opinion. And the really big monster thing, I don't even know what it's called, but I don't know. It kind of took me out of it for that sense. Plus that music was in the background. I really didn't like that. But I think I like the cast enough that's in it, and hopefully it's just a fun movie that I can enjoy for that sense. But from what I got from this trailer, I'm not going to take it too seriously. And yeah, I don't really have much else to add. I think actually maybe I'll let you go because I got to look something up.
So my first thought is like, where's my girl Mila? I need her in this movie. But when I saw the original trailer they dropped, and you're right, the song choice was definitely, it made me you didn't watch the international trailer, did you? Because they added a little bit of extended footage in there, and they didn't use the song at all. It was absolutely like, this feels like a straight up horror movie. It was really good. It was so much better than the trailer we got. So if you haven't seen the trailer, I highly recommend ignoring the one we got and just watch the international trailer specifically. It's so much better, and we'll sell you on it.
There you go.
Yeah, there was a lot of scenes, you're right, that were just reminiscent of the games, like the tanker when they're going into the mansion and the guy like head slowly turns around, like it's like, oh, that's a blunt little nod right there. But it just looks it looks awesome. It looks spooky. It looks like this is going to be a awesome interpretation of a video game to film adaptation. That's just me speaking. I don't probably alienating our Resident Evil fan base saying that.
Okay, so the character that I was thinking of was I thought he was called Mr. X, but his name is like T-00. So in the game Resident Evil 2, he's this like just unstoppable force that like he just keeps pursuing you, and he's just absolutely terrifying. He wasn't shown at all in the trailer, and I really hope that they're like hiding him or something, because he's just a really iconic villain. At least I hope he is, for making that statement there. But I know, especially from Resident Evil 2, he's just really iconic, and there was a lot of like nods, it seemed, from like Resident Evil 2 in this one. So I hope he makes like a surprise appearance. I feel like I don't want to get too hopeful for that though, because I feel like if he was a big villain in it, they probably would have showed him in the trailer just to like kind of get a lot of fans like, oh, here he comes. But nonetheless, I think he would be a really fun addition to this, especially when they go to like those super like just like memorable locations that they're at in this one. But all in all, I hope it's really good. I hope I have fun with it, and I think not taking it too seriously will help my expectations going into it. And yeah, I'll definitely have to check out that international trailer though, like you said.
Definitely do. Again, if Resident Evil, it's a popular franchise, we got the full sixology with Mila. Like, there's people that supported this movie enough to get 6 goddamn movies out of it. So
Absolutely.
it's definitely got a chance to get a sequel. I hope. I really hope it does, because this looks like it's much more humbled and trying to stay true to the franchise than Mila's films did. But it looks like they got a lot. And that's the thing with the CGI. Sorry, you're gonna say something?
Nope, sorry.
Okay. With the CGI, I think you're spot on with that. When you compare it to like the original Resident Evil films, they used a lot of practical effects. Like even the dogs were like real dogs with just this shit slabbed and slobbed all over their bodies.
Hopefully it wasn't real shit.
No. Yeah. And even when characters like Nemesis, stuff like that, like they just went really, really crazy with that stuff. The only time they really went crazy with the CGI in those films was with those rabbit things with the brains. I can't remember what they're called, which they did again here, but I hope that they don't all do CGI this time around.
Yeah. The other thing I was gonna say is I do like the whole like conspiracy type aspect of it, where like Claire, and I'm assuming that's Chris, her brother, where like kind of talking about like how they have to like reveal the secrets of Umbrella or like shut down Umbrella, and then just this whole, because that's like a thing that I've always loved in the Resident Evil series, is the whole idea of what Umbrella is, this super just like dark, creepy organization that has like their own ulterior motives, and I think they're just a really good villain to like have in the series. It's kind of fun to like label just like company like a villain, but that's essentially what they are. So I really hope that they stick with the Umbrella thing, and yeah, I so with I guess anything else I can shout out for Resident Evil is I really hope that they add a lot more like specifics when it comes to like the virus, and like talking about the virus and the origins of it, and like they explain that well, because they could honestly just like not even really talk about it, just there's some sort of sickness that's going around. But I do hope they talk about the more origins of the virus, and like what's causing the town to basically go this way. And I feel like they don't have to do that. They could be really lazy and just glance over it and be like, oh, that's just they're doing tests and this is it. But I hope they have good explanations for that sort of stuff.
I agree. Yeah. I hope the whole conspiracy thing just pulls me in, because I'm all about a good conspiracy. Check out my other podcast today with Ruben, Cryptic Clues. We talk about a lot of conspiracy in there.
Absolutely.
But it's just got that kind of like what's really going on vibe. Like, and it sets up the mystery you want to be drawn into. Like when Claire plays that video, like what they're doing here. Like it's like, oh, I want to know what they're doing there. Let's go to the mansion. Let's find out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it should be good. And that's coming out What was the
I
release date on
missed the
that?
date. I
Oh
missed the date
shit.
for sure.
Let's take a look. Who's gonna find it first?
I think you will.
Oh
I hope
god,
you will, because I'm not looking for it.
no! March 22nd, 1996 is not it.
1996. It says movie's already out. It's as old as I am.
2002. No, come on.
You're going through all the Resident Evil movies.
November 24th. Okay,
There you go.
there we go.
That's not far away at all. It's
No,
a month and a half or so.
super close.
Nice.
All right. Well, we got another movie we can talk about.
Hell yeah.
Have you seen any of these films, Kirklin?
The Paranormal Activities. You keep leading me on. Like, you don't give me the substance. You just like, have you seen this? Blank. And I got to make a wild swing, but I feel good when I hit it. So yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
I have seen, I want to say the first one. I feel like majority of people have seen the first one just because it's pretty iconic. And then I know I went to one in theaters with like a group of friends back in the day. Forget which one that one was. Maybe you can help me out here. And spoiler alert for whatever movie this is, but the ending it ends with them all in this like room with a bunch of old people, and like the old people are like the bad guys, I guess, and they're oh no, you're blanking. I didn't want to see that face.
No, there's one that I think it could be it. It was in a room or it was outside.
It was like in a room, I think. They like go into a house and there's just like ton of like old people and they all just like look at like the camera person and like walk towards them. Maybe it's outside. Maybe again, this is years ago when I saw it. So maybe I should have just said, no, I'm not too familiar with the series. I know I've seen at least one and I know what it's all about with like the found footage stuff. But yeah, how many are there even?
I think there should be 7.
Holy macaroni. That's a lot. And this one is titled Next of Kin, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this is the most, and again, I'm totally out of wheelhouse here because I haven't seen them all, but I feel like this is the most different from the other ones because from the old ones, it's mostly just like security cams or maybe like baby monitor type footage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was right. This one that we're getting makes it 7. So
Wow.
yeah, we have Productivity 1, Productivity 2, 3, 4, and then Productivity the marked ones, and then the Ghost Dimension.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That one sounds like Ghostbuster crossover.
Yeah.
Ghost Dimension.
The films, like me and Madison have been kind of doing like a Paranormal Activity marathon coincidentally, and the first one it was okay, but I personally my favorite one is definitely number 2. I like number 4 as well, but they all have an interesting story. And I was reading into I think the director of this one how it's been like the first one came out in 2007. So when you're trying to reach out to a new fan base and you've already got 6 movies out in this franchise, it's difficult to rope them in and say, hey, go back and watch all of these movies to kind of figure out what's going on. So this isn't necessarily a reboot, but it's like a soft is the term soft reboot or something like that? Is that how they call it?
Sounds right. I think
Yeah.
I'd agree with you.
Yeah, so it's just a way of being kind of new and fresh, not disregarding what happened in that previous films, but taking them into account, but just kind of being like a new story that is in this universe and associated with it, which I think is great because it'll rope in new fans. It's a great way to just start fresh, and it doesn't limit them either to the limitations of sticking with this storyline that they've created in the past films, and people going into this for the first time be like, well, why'd they do that? Well, they had to do it because of like Paranormal Activity 2 and 4. And it's like, well, I didn't see those ones. Those came out in 2008 and 11 or whatever. So I just think it's a great idea to start fresh. I think that's kind of like the trajectory of a lot of these horror movies these days. I mean, they did it with Wrong Turn, which was iffy for me, but they doing it now, and it just seems to be a great alternative instead of just remaking it and ruining the fan base.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think of like the idea of what those other Paranormal Activities were, like I would say you can only do that so many times, but like fuck, they made like what 6 movies or something like running with that same thing. So that's obviously a lot of people were liking them and seeing them, and maybe I should be hesitant when I say a lot of people were liking them. A lot of people were just seeing them, so it's enough to keep running with that. But I think it is a good idea to kind of like just freshen up what they're doing with it and do something which is a lot more like a regular film thing where we're following like the characters through it, and then you also get a mix of that found footage thing. Um, but yeah, that just getting into what the trailer was. Next of kin. Do you like the whole idea of what this is? It's like she found her biological family. It ends up being some sort of like Amish heritage. So then she goes and lives with these people that are just different, and like not in a positive or negative way. Just they're totally different
Oh,
from
it's
like what she
negative.
would be
It's
living.
negative.
Okay, it's negative. Why do you think it's negative? And explain what you thought
Oh,
of the trailer.
I mean, anyone that'll watch the trailer will know it's 100% negative.
Well, I'm saying like Amish in general. Like
Oh no, I
it's not a
respect
bad thing to
everyone's.
do that. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
everyone's beliefs totally fine. The trailer is just it gave me vibes of like a Midsommar. Like I
Yeah,
100% felt
I'd
like
agree
it
with that.
was like if A24, I think that's the company that did Midsommar, right? And
Yep,
like
that's right.
Hereditary. I
Yep.
feel like if they were to do a found footage film, this trailer made me feel like it to a degree. But I know A24 would probably never touch a found footage film with a 10-foot pole.
I,
So
I was gonna say I feel like the Travis in me is telling me to push back on this.
oh,
They would
push,
never do something like
push.
this.
Yeah.
Especially just watching the trailer, I feel like it's not. It's not A24 quality.
No, no. I definitely let me rephrase how I put that. It's not like their quality, but it gave me the vibe, and I think that's just probably because of the time period, and I'm relating it to the other time period of like Midsommar. It just makes me feel like they're very similar.
and the whole
But
and the whole idea of like going to someone's related to something to that
mhm,
location, and they go there and it's just so like people are wearing like really like fancy gowns and they're off in the woods, like it's just so different from the regular life that they're experiencing,
mhm,
which okay, yeah, I agree with you. It's similar aspect to where our main character is doing that same sort of aspect in this film.
100%. So yeah, it's interesting. Like these movies have a good job of just making me think like, why are you doing that? Whoa, whoa, whoa. And then I was watching a trailer before we booted up the cast here, and I freaked out at one scene, and you knew what it was, like that potato scene. Like that's just so cringy. Like someone help poor Granny out here. God damn. Oh, yeah, stuff like that. It's subtle, and like if okay, if my mom, I wanted to go meet my biological mother. She's Amish, great, whoop de doo, it's fine. I go up to her encampment, her town, and I see Granny Ellie there, whatever, just peeling her hand off with a potato shaver. I'm gonna help her, but then I'm gonna realize, okay, it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge. This place is not what I thought it was. But she wants answers, so it's fair. It's that kind of thing that's pulling you in, like, hey, you want to know what's really going on? Like, your mom was here, and maybe she's a fucking skinwalker creature that's living under the ground. Like, cryptic clues might have to do an episode on this.
Yeah, if it's a real thing. Yeah. Yeah, so the whole idea of what that is like it's tough because I've never been in that situation. Like I know my family, good relationship with my family, but like maybe if I never knew who they were and I was really intrigued, I would put myself in that situation. It's once I start seeing some things like what you shouted out, I feel like I'd be right the hell out of there. But just like the idea of what the movie is, I think it's interesting, and I think it'll get enough people in the theater to go see this. If I'm talking about like the trailer on itself, I didn't really like this trailer. I thought it showed a lot of what it shouldn't have. Like I think like right at the end of the trailer, that's probably like the last scene of the movie. Honestly, it's like I've seen enough of these types of films where it's like, oh, when you see something crazy run to the camera, it's like the last shot of the film because like the person holding the camera just dies that way. But also maybe you're making the arguments like, well, someone has to find the footage, right? And then how are we watching it if they just died in that cave and no one ever finds that tape? I think there was just also some scenes when like the protagonist was talking to like that little girl and she's like brushing the hair and it's just like, oh yeah, my mom's name was that, and she's like, your mom was here. Like part of me is just like, okay, I feel like I've seen this scene so many other times. So like even when she's just talking to the girl, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be something creepy. And then the girl's like, wait, what'd you say? And it's just like something that I've seen so many times before. This trailer just really didn't sell me on this movie. I feel like I don't really want to see this movie. And like that might be harsh, but honestly, it's just how I'm feeling from the trailer. There's quite a few films or quite a few films, quite a few scenes where it was like the the locals or like the Amish people are just like hunting them down, and like again, you want the trailer to be creepy to like get people interested, but I feel like there was just so many scenes that were like right in the end of the film, and I could be completely wrong about that, but just the vibe that I was getting from the trailer, I think it's going to be something along those lines where all the intense scenes that we saw were probably going to be pretty damn close to the end, but who knows? What about you? Like, are you interested in this film? I obviously you've seen all the Paranormal Activities. You and Madison have been watching them lately. Is this were you like
Um,
looking forward to this? Like, oh, I can't wait to get another Paranormal Activity. Like, is it a series that a lot of general audience members are just like itching for?
I don't know if they're itching. Maybe like a cough here and there, like for it, but not itching. But it's I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited only because of like the time period that they're going with, like how, or the setting, not the time period, present day, going back like to Amish. I thought for a second when I was reading the synopsis that it's set like in an Amish community. I'm like, so how the fuck do they have found footage then if it's set like in the 1800s?
Yeah.
But I'm glad that that's someone going into this community. I think that'll make it very intriguing. They've done a good job, I think, at kind of deflecting certain things with this trailer. And I say that because you say like, oh, that last scene of the thing running at her in the underground cave would be the final scene. I'm going to play devil's advocate and say no, because I think a
Yeah.
lot of films that do found footage now, they kind of trick you in that front where it's that's probably like halfway through or like 75% the way there. It's probably chases her out and
When
she'll
she's
run
going down the
outside.
hellhole,
Yeah.
she's like in the
Yeah.
hellhole. How is she supposed to get out of there?
Well, that's a good question. She'll probably find like, and this is my prediction for how they do paranormal activities. She'll find some way of getting out. She'll get out and she'll walk out. She'll go into a building. Like you said, there'll be a bunch of old people standing there, and then the camera will cut out. That's how every paranormal activity kind of ends, to be
Oh my
honest.
gosh. Okay, there you
So,
go. It's intentional.
it is. I think the success of this film will be very interesting. I'm very curious on it. Again, I don't think any of these films will come close to. I don't know. I can't speak for all of them, but I don't think they'll come close to how well that first one did. And the first one, again, that was like 200,000 to make, and it made just under like 200 million back. Like that's hella
Very
good.
good.
If we
Yeah.
can pull off a movie like that, then like we're laughing.
I don't think we have the budget for that first.
Oh, but yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I I hope I'm wrong, honestly, like with all these predictions. I can always give people credit when they give me a trailer and I'm like, "Oh, well, why'd they show that?" And then when you get to the movie, it's like, "Oh, okay, they totally threw me off with that." And like they were actually really selective with the scenes that they chose in trailers, but I think just the whole idea, especially when they get into like, "Oh, there's this church and there's like a demon," and they Google it, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this movie so many times, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I just maybe I'm just not too attached to the series, so I'm not too heavily invested in it. So yeah, I'm just not too interested in what I saw.
Whenever they say like the name of a demon in movies, I will like mute my TV or talk out loud, like to just like stop them from saying the full name, because I 100% feel like, okay, if you do too much of this shit on your TV, you're gonna conjure some shit. I don't want to conjure shit.
Like Candyman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, just let it
um
float.
so you said that you're not excited for this movie. Trailer didn't sell you on it. Will you still see it?
I think it would have to be the like a lot of things like aligning in place because I would never be able to get Shay to go see this with me. So if it's like an evening, just the two of us probably wouldn't be watching this. But like it,
You won the
anytime I want to watch,
lottery, gun to your head.
yeah, like if it's like okay, Shay's working, you guys are gonna go see it. It's like yeah, I'll join or something, or maybe. I don't know. My dad really likes horror movies. He's usually the one that I watch horror movies with. So maybe down the line see it. But it's tough for me to see myself like going to theaters and see this like right off the bat because for one, I just probably wouldn't have anyone to go see it with, and
Just lined
two,
up outside, ready to go, ready to
yeah,
like
like
get in there.
there's a handful of series out there where it's like it doesn't matter if nobody's going to see it. I just love the series so much that I'll be in line and go see that by myself if I have to. But this is definitely not one of those.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, we got a couple more topics to go. We'll just jump to one more ad break here, and then we'll be right back.
I gotta ask Taylor, are we doing the ads on Twitch? Because I totally forgot that it's like a 30-second ad.
Oh,
So we like actually have to wait the 30 seconds because me and Travis had to do that last time, and I totally blanked on it until I looked up and I saw the Twitch symbol.
no one told me anything, so we
Yeah,
probably
well,
were
Travis,
supposed to be.
it's all good.
We'll invoke Travis.
Yeah, we'll invoke him.
Yeah. He didn't put it in the notes when he gave us
I
instructions, so
completely forgot about that, and he probably did too. So there you go.
I've never done Twitch ads before, so that's out of my realm of
Yeah, because I remember
ability.
last time Travis and I were doing the 30 seconds, and then it would be like the ad, and then we would just talk or like maybe get water or something. And I completely forgot about that till now. So.
Well, it's okay. We still got the other ads in the podcast feed, so we'll
Exactly.
be good
There
for
you
this.
go.
Okay, our last couple of topics. Now, I can't recall. Are you Game of Thrones fan?
Game of Thrones had a very special place in my heart. I think like when only the first 2 seasons were out, that's like when I jumped into it, and I was just blown away. It was so phenomenal. Feels like the first time I've seen like just like dongs on screen. I'm like, what is this? What is this series? Um, I loved it. I it was very mysterious. A lot of things like weren't really getting introduced like right away, so it was scratching my fancy, and I was intrigued, and I just wanted to know more, and I was fully invested in it. And then it was just like coming out weekly on TV, and I was just falling behind. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just binge it near the end. And then I think like the later seasons, I can't remember what the reception was of like maybe the last couple seasons. I know the last season was just absolutely hated on, and I'm like, okay, I'm scared to finish the show now. And then around that time, I think Shay started watching it, so then I was just like rewatching it with her. And we got into it again, and then that last season happened, and it was just abysmal. It's one of those one of those ends where it's just it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Like I honestly think it like brought the show in general down because of the ending, which is absolutely terrible, and you never want to see that. But it did happen this time around. I have all the books. I think I made it through like majority of the first one. They're kind of tough reads, and for me, it's like I'll read quite a bit, and then I'll just like take a pause, and then I'll come back to it. I'm like, where the fuck was I? Especially the way that the books are written, it goes from like character by character, so it could be going from like so much stuff going with the Starks, and then you jump over to like the Targaryen girl Dany, and then you're like reading her for a while, and then you jump back to the Starks. You're like, I don't even remember where the fuck were they, like what was going on. So I really really love the series. That last season definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. What about you? Like I was gonna jump into like what this trailer was, but I don't even want to talk about that until I hear your take on the series.
For me, it's I hopped in a little bit later. I think I hopped in around season 4. My cousin was so into Game of Thrones. He's trying to get me into it, like season 1, 2. When we worked at Target, like Game of Thrones seasons are always like 50, $60. They're super expensive. When we worked at Target, season 1 was like $15. This is before I worked at the Target with you guys, actually. I was working at the one on Vancouver Island. And it's like $15. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna buy it and just see how it goes. Because seasons 1 and 2 were both $15 on sale. I bought season 1 and I absolutely fell in love with it. I was like cross-eyed with it. I finished it.
Cross-eyed.
I was cross-eyed, yeah. I finished it in one day. And then I went back to Target, bought season 2, went back and finished that the next day. I was so into it. And I had to wait around for season 3 to release on DVD. Maybe that was when it was. Season 3, season 4 is when I had to wait around for it. Anyways, I waited around. Season 3 came out, and I have all the seasons except the 8th one that I purchased. But I just got so hooked into it. I loved every second of it, and I have my own outline of how I wanted things to go. You've seen season 8? That's what you said, right? Or did you see part of it? You finished it. Okay. So
I finished it.
I really believed in the idea that, okay, they're bringing the Golden Army over. We're going to get all the characters and armies of Westeros. The Golden Army, Cersei's armies, the Lannisters, everyone's teaming up against the undead. I'm thinking, oh, the undead's not even going to go to Winterfell. They're going to skip and go straight to like King's Landing. We're going to get the biggest battle of battles. It's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be 3 episodes long. I'm all for it. And it was one battle. It was one great battle, but then nothing came to it. It just went so sideways, and it just was hurting my heart. So Yeah, I will give you. I'll give you that. It definitely pulled the series down a little bit. They just killed off Cersei, and it felt like it was super anticlimactic.
And like the whole idea of like the new king, like it's all set up for John to be like the new king, and
Yeah.
then just they're like, yeah, no, we'll just make Bran it, and it just didn't make sense. But
hmm
we're not
I
really talking about, I guess, the end of this show.
no. I feel like how they ended it, leading into a sequel series. That's a topic for another day. That being said, of the series that we're getting, I'm so happy that it's a prequel series and it takes place generations before the Game of Thrones. I just think that where we got in this trailer looks awesome. It has great nods and references back to this world. I think it has so many things that's going to get people excited. And for me, that line drop when he's like, I can't even remember the first start of it. Oh no, but he's like something about gods, dragons did. Oh no, I fucked it up. No, something didn't
Well,
make us kings, dragons did.
yeah, there you go. That's exactly it.
So that's my thoughts there. Super good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think just because of where Game of Thrones left in my life, it's just I have like zero hype for this series. Now that being said, like it did look really cool, and the stuff that they're tackling is really, really interesting stuff, like the whole Targaryens and like almost like the golden age of the Targaryens, like when they were reigning, and like you see like so many of them and the whole aspect of the dragons. Like I think it's a really good place to go next. Because it's like we only glanced upon like some of that history with Danny and her brother, and it's going to be fun to dive into more of that stuff. And there was some fun like little Easter egg things like the Iron Throne. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
noticed, but like there's way more swords in there. That's actually a lot more close to like the version of the throne in the books. Because like in the show, it's just like so lackluster. It's just like this throne with like some swords on it, but like in the books, like it's actually like 1,000 swords. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy, all the details of it. So that was really fun to see. And I thought overall it was a good enough teaser trailer to like just get people like, oh yeah, Game of Thrones again. But I don't know if many people feel the same way as I do. It's just the way that show ended, it like made me mad. And it's like I am just so done with this series, which is unfortunate. And hopefully like the closer we get to this series, I get excited for it again. But it's tough for me because it's like I trusted you and you betrayed me. That's how I feel
Mm-hmm.
with the series because like it started so phenomenal and it was just getting so good. I think a couple of my favorite characters died off, so then I got pissed off it again, and I'm like, whatever, it's a show, let's just get over it. But then the finale the finale happened, and it just like ruined all the remaining characters in my eyes. And yeah, I I think I need some like I'm still in the cool off period
Mm-hmm.
for accepting more Game of Thrones content. But nonetheless, it's probably gonna kill. It was such a big franchise that it'll probably just make so much money. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. It's I'm hoping and I'm thinking as soon as we get the trailer with the dragons in there, people are gonna be like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
No,
So
yeah, because like I've been hating on the series, but like it's one of like the biggest budgeted shows ever, and like it showed like the quality of the dragons was phenomenal, like the sets and like all the costume designs, like it was a phenomenally well made like what's the best way to say that, like well made with like the production side of it, but like the
mm-hmm.
content just really frustrated me. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of tough to judge about that, but it'll be good to get like another high budgeted show on TV again with that, and yeah, just get us back to Westeros.
Yeah, 100%. Uh, we got one more thing to talk about. One more.
Absolutely.
Now, I'll throw you a bone. You like Christopher Nolan movies there, Kirkland?
I absolutely love Christopher Nolan movies, Taylor. Do you like Christopher Nolan movies?
Oh, yeah, I do. Tell us about this one, Kirkland.
Yeah, so this news kind of surprised me, honestly. I don't know if I was just expecting like a cool down period between like the Nolan films because like Tenet came out a couple years ago now, maybe last year. Feels like longer. COVID just makes time seem so much longer than it actually is. But nonetheless, Tenet came out, and now it's been announced that Cillian Murphy confirmed to star as J. Robert Oppenheimer in Christopher Nolan's next film with Universal Pictures. Um, everything that was said in this is like thumbs up positive in my eyes. I think it's I love Cillian Murphy and like what I've seen of him in the Nolan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was in at least two Nolan films. He was
Yep.
in Inception and The Batman.
He
Um,
was also in Dunkirk.
oh, that's right. Yes, he was in
Mhm.
Dunkirk. So I love him, and like it's a great pairing because I've loved Cillian Murphy's performances in all of the Nolan stuff that I've seen him in. So I think it's really exciting. I'm excited to see him star in that role. Like I know he's in Peaky Blinders. I've never seen it. I've heard it's a great show or something like that. I'm assuming his performance is phenomenal because he's just a really really well well uh, well carried actor, and he's just phenomenal. And I think he's got the cojones to lead a Nolan film
Ooh.
like this. And have you seen like the side by sides of like him and the actual Oppenheimer? Like they're like they look so similar already. Just like the face and like I mean I guess that's a big reason why he was cast, but nonetheless he looks really really good in the role. And I'm very intrigued on just like Nolan tackling like a more um like real life event. Like I guess he did Dunkirk, so that one kind of slipped my mind. So disregard what I said. I'm just excited to to see this, and it's a really really fascinating period in history. The whole thing with like the atomic bomb,
Mhm.
um, and yeah. So it's checked all my interest boxes. Like unlike the paranormal trailer, this isn't a trailer, but just this news, like it's just got me so hyped.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess whether or not he was going to take a break after Tenet, I don't know. He got that deal with Universal, and Universal's just whipping him into shape. Like, hey, come on, Christopher, start popping out films for us. Let's go. And that's what he's doing. He's giving us this film, and I think that I know Travis mentioned that he's kind of like exhausted of this time period. I guess like, hey, Nolan working on this, like to get into. I think Travis would want him to do more like the wacky stuff, like crazy mind bending things, which is totally fine because he like Nolan's phenomenal at that. But I think he's one of the few directors that really can deliver a he can incorporate that into these wartime movies, but at the same time he delivers the messaging of these films and what the event consists of so well that it's just super intense to behold and to witness and just to take in. And I think that this event significantly is a very I don't want to say like political. I don't want to use that word, but it's just a very, as you said, like a real thing that has led to so much chaos on the planet as when that event unfolded. So I just think that it's a bold thing to dive into, and there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. Like you got to get something like this right because you don't want to offend anyone because something like this could be very offensive, and you want to make sure that it's done as a very solid representation of being a creating that awareness of what happened. And I think Dunkirk is very much kind of like that. Aside from that one snippet of when the crew is on like the boat and they're all looking up and the one guy starts smiling as he's looking up. Like, do you remember that for Dunkirk?
No, I don't remember that specific scene.
Oh man.
Like I remember the scene. I don't remember the smile though. So
Yeah, Travis like honed in on it. Like all these guys are looking up the plane. There's one guy like holds his hat and he's like he starts smiling. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited for this film, and I think Cillian Murphy is absolutely fantastic. I've never seen
yeah.
Peaky Blinders, but he's like ever since I saw that movie Red Eye, he's always been like super up on the list for me.
I love that movie keeps getting brought up. Good movie. Like it's just I don't want to disregard the movie, but it's just funny that like you mentioned it and for some reason it just accessed some weird memory I thought I forgot about. But no, I remember seeing that movie with him
There
as
you
a
go.
villain. And yeah, just doubling down on the whole like Oppenheimer thing. Like it's just that story alone is just so fascinating, and like it's almost like I feel like it's something that's so wild that you could like pass it for like a fiction's tale, but like the fact that it's real, it's kind of surprising that it hasn't already been done on like a big screen. I think Nolan is gonna tackle it really well because I think part of me when I think of Nolan, like obviously we get the Batmans and stuff, but like I still think his what he does is like so out there and like like I guess his Batman series is known for being one of the more grounded Batmans to ever be done. But like then you think of something like Inception, Tenet, Interstellar, like those tackle some like really wild ideas, and like I feel like a lot of it might get some critique because people are like, oh, this is just impossible, this will never happen. But like
Mhm.
that's part of the reason why I love him, because he's not really scared to just jump into that wildness. But anytime that he does like one of these like real life situation things, um I mean, like I just love him as a director, so I think he's gonna kill it. But then I would always think of like Dunkirk and how well that movie was made, and it's just yeah, I 100% trust him to do
Mhm.
something real life and nonfiction as opposed to something fictitious. And yeah, it's just it's I'm really excited because like I said, it's checked everything. Even without a trailer, like it's a day one watch for me. Go check out our Nolan
Yeah,
retros.
I yeah, good plug. Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. I'm super excited for this movie. And yeah, I think that's it for all our news. Unless you have any news topics you want to shimmy in.
If we want to shimmy in some fun little gaming topics, what about that Battlefield beta? Does this change like your hype at all for that game? Like just from what you've been seeing, you've been
No, it
pretty
honestly
defensive
really
on it.
doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I give them credit because I mean, their beta got hit by a lot of hackers, which sucks. It sucks
That
that
always
that's the way it
sucks.
is. But I'm going to give the devs a lot of credit. Yeah, people can give them flack because it's EA, sure, but they make a hell of a good shooter. Again, the hype of Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, that was surreal. Um, the later ones, like you're a Bad Company 1 fan, or not Bad Company, Battlefield 1 fan, which is
Yeah.
great because that game was visually stunning. I like this game alone has upped the ante in being so ambitious for what it's trying to do. I don't hold anything against them for there being like issues. That's why they do these betas. I think
Absolutely.
it's great that they put out an open beta for this game because there's obviously a lot of work that needs to be done. And people go in thinking, oh, the beta is supposed to be a playable demo that we get to enjoy. Yeah, it is, but it's not labeled as a demo, it's labeled
It's
as a
not finished
beta.
product. Yeah.
Exactly. So people are giving it flack, and I think that's unjustified. I think that you need to go in with the pre-existing notion, okay, it's a beta. We're here to play the game, and we're here to break it intentionally so that we can actually give the devs the results they need to debug and to fix it, patch it. So again, the content is funny, the memes, the videos, it's hilarious. I'm gonna laugh at it, but I'm 100% standing for the devs. And if people got problems with the devs, because I was reading an article about people giving them shit and they were just trying to like struggle just to kind of like, it's hard when they put something out and people online are just keyboard warriors and give them shit. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. So I support you devs. Battlefield 2042. Let's fucking do it. I'm gonna indulge in your game. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna fly those helicopters.
Yeah. It's interesting too because when the Battlefield trailer came out, I was pretty surprised on how many people were actually talking about it. Like even Travis was mentioning how like he was probably going to pick it up, and I thought the only thing that was really pulling Travis back in the first person shooter realm was like the whole Warzone thing and the battle royale aspect and how fun that is like with a team. And I was pretty surprised on how positive he was with the 2042 um, trailer. It was E3, right, that it was initially shown at.
I believe so.
Yeah, and so like it tickled my fancy. I feel like part of me like wasn't really hyped on it, not because it didn't look cool or anything like that, but I'm like, okay, I got Warzone. It's a free game, so that's very easy to jump into with some friends whenever I want to. The
Mhm.
main thing that really appealed me for like Battlefield 1 that you're mentioning, like that's my one Battlefield like hardcore game that I got into, was just the fact that it was so different and like the warfare was so like limited. Like you're literally just in World War I times, right? So you have like a little bolt action rifle with like 6 shots, and it's like so janky. And you said visually pleasing, like just all of those things just added to me getting really hyped for that game. What I've seen on this one, it hasn't really got me too hyped, but I don't want to just say that I will never get it. If all the boys are on there and they're praising it and making it sound amazing, then yeah, absolutely, I'll get on there. But um, I think I just didn't have much hype in general. But when it comes to the whole beta thing, I think I have to agree with you like 100%. Where people are like being unfair to like the makers and stuff like that, and that's why they do these beta tests, right? Like they're almost you call them like a stress test because they're testing
Mhm.
their servers, they're testing what the game is like because obviously they do their own quality control, but there's so many things that they just aren't really checking for, especially once you just allow it to the public. Like people will just discover these glitchy things, and I don't think people. I think people are being unfair when it comes to just critiquing it. Now, if the game was announced like next month, then it's like, okay, yeah, this is kind of a red flag here. But like, they still have a lot of time to work out these kinks, right? So,
Mhm.
I hope maybe they even do like another open beta, like after they fix it and do stuff like that, because I think the initial release date, it said 2021, but there's not like a set month or anything like that. It just says initial release date 2021. I could see this getting pushed, and I honestly hope that we get another beta. Just and then maybe then another beta comes out, and then if it's actually god awful again, maybe that's where I'm like, okay, this is kind of getting a little worrisome. But who knows? Maybe it would actually iron out a lot of these things, and you're always going to get hackers, no matter what game you have, especially when the game's first coming out. People just find ways to jank with the code and just be little hackers. But I hope they do another beta test, and I hope it goes positive.
A Charlie test. Yeah.
Charlie tests, yeah, those are rare. Those are rare.
They are rare. Yeah. That's only when they're doing real bad. Oh, what was I gonna say? The squad element. I don't know if Travis has ever played a Battlefield, but I feel like it's in the cards for him to play it because it's going to be free through Games Pass at some point. Probably like 3 months after it's been released, it'll be on EA Access. So when he plays it, and I know I'll play it with him, getting to enjoy that squad aspect. That's like the peak when everyone picks their class and everyone just kind of, you move as a unit, a squad, and just go for the objective. It's such a rush. It's so awesome. So I think Travis is going to be hit with a rude awakening because the bullet drop, the recoil. I think he's going to freak, and he probably won't play it too much.
Right on.
Yeah.
So I was just the last thing I want to take on, just because it's pretty relevant in the news feeds right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Anything else you want to tackle?
No, I don't think there's any other gaming things that I can think of. So
okay. Well, I guess that's it.
That's it.
We'll see you guys soon. I can't remember what's coming this week. Oh, DC Fandom.
DC Fandom. Don't forget Saturday.
Saturday. Be there, be square. That'll be at like 9 a.m. sharp. So
What If series is over? We don't have to stay
Right.
up till midnight on Tuesday this week.
Oh,
so
thank goodness.
little break leading into Hawkeye. Super excited for that series, but it'd be nice to have a little break.
Yeah, get to breathe easy. Oh, all right. Well, it was good chatting with you folks that came to listen, and we'll see you in the search bar.
Farewell.